past and in the future. So hello, everybody. I'm excited to be here. I'm going to go right into the information because we have a short time to cover a lot of information, but I do want to tell you something. Someone asked me, they recently asked me, David, is this the same information that we're going to go over every single week? And the answer is yes. Every single week we go over the same information, and I want to give you this, and I've learned this lesson. This is an important lesson to learn. Sometimes it's not about learning new information. It's about being reminded of what you already know. That's what it's about, because the biggest battle is between what we know and how we feel. That's the biggest battle. Oh, just reminding me that I have to go on. That's the biggest battle of what you know and how you feel. And sometimes we don't feel like doing something, but we know we should do it. So we need to be constantly reminded of what we already know. And so to me, it's an honor to be able to share with you and remind you of what it takes to become an entrepreneur and what it really takes to go out there and make it happen. Because many times we forget that there's motivation. The word motivation is a very not really known word, but motivation comes from the word motives. It's about the person that has motivation is that person that has the motives to do that. And in other words, has a why. We call it a why. I like to call it purpose. To me, purpose is just such a strong word that when you say someone has a purpose, and a purpose is necessary for you to go out there and have so much success in any area of our lives. And I tell you, David, is this how is this possible? Why is this? You might ask me, why is motivation and purpose important? Here, let me ask you this. How many weight loss programs does it take for you to reach your desired weight? Just one, the one you stick with. And how many motivational and personal development programs do you need in order for you to reach your desired goals? Just one, the one you follow through on. So what gives you that fuel is understanding and being a purpose-driven individual. And it starts, it's so powerful because I tell people purpose trumps profit. Purpose trumps profits. Purpose trumps challenges. Purpose trumps a lack of knowledge. Purpose trumps any obstacle that you might come. There's a great, I'm a big fan of boxing. I've been a boxing fan since I was born. I was born in 1982, and I grew up when I was 5 years old. I remember seeing Mike Tyson in the 80s. For those of you that don't know, Mike Tyson was the man. He was like the top athlete in the world. It was amazing. 19 years old, a world champion, incredible. He was unbeatable too. He was like it was scary to see that man, how he went through 30 fights with 30 knockouts. Nobody could beat him. And to one day, Mike Tyson bumped into a purpose-driven individual by the name of Buster Douglas. And I remember that fight. I was there with my grandfather. And that but we didn't know, everybody knocked Buster Douglas out. He said, there's no way this guy's going to make it. This is just another night for Mike Tyson. And they got in the ring and they fought. And then the hit came, and Buster Douglas went straight to the ground. Buster Douglas got back up. In fact, everybody was saying, he's done, it's over, the fight's over, but he got back up, he's wobbling, and ding, 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 the bell rang, and saved by the bell. He then went to the corner, and in the corner, his coach told him, remember your mother. Remember your mother. He kept telling her, remember what you told your mother. You see, what people don't know about Buster Douglas, but they didn't really know till he mentioned it later on, is that his mother told everybody, before she died, his mother told everybody, my son's going to be the world champion. My son's going to be the heavy world champion. The heavyweight champion of the world, my son's going to be. And 2 days before the fight, his mother died. And his coach told him, remember your mother. In other words, remember your why. He went in the 9th round and he put it on to Mike Tyson. On 10th round, he knocked Mike Tyson out. And it was like the world shook. I remember I was like looking at my grandfather, I was like, did this just happen? Mike Tyson just got knocked out? But here's what we didn't know. Later on, we found out what happened. What happened was simple. Mike Tyson came across a purpose-driven individual. You see, and purpose trumps pain. Purpose trumps profits. Purpose trumps challenges. It trumps anything that's in your obstacle. So what's your purpose? What motivates you in the morning? What helps you wake up every moment? Is it time with family? Is it to be debt-free? Maybe you want to create a college education for your kids. Maybe you want to have a better retirement, travel the world, give more to charity, have a freedom to choose your entire life, to choose whatever you want. Here's what I do know. You got to have a purpose, because a purpose is what trumps any obstacle that's going to come your way. There will be obstacles, there will be challenges, but purpose trumps it all. A purpose-driven individual is unstoppable. They can go through pain, they can go through anything, and they'll do whatever it takes to make it happen. Failure for them is not an option. That's a purpose-driven individual. And you and I have to have that goal and that purpose in front of us at all times. And remind yourself, Danny Bay used to tell me 14 years ago, out of sight, out of mind. If you're not thinking about it, if you're not looking at it, if it's not in front of you, it's not going to happen for you. So you got to have pictures posted in your wall. You got to have goals that you read every single morning. Every single morning I read my affirmations. I read my goals. I read what I want to do. I'm grateful for the goals that are not yet here in my life. I tell myself I'm so grateful that by December 2020, my organization has grown to $20 million in sales a month. I'm so grateful for that. And that has not happened yet. We haven't even launched, but I'm giving gratitude to what I'm yet to receive. So go out there and have a purpose-driven individual, and I promise you, this is the start of all achievement for you. Developing the right mental mindset. Here, this is one of the most important things you can understand is that the mindset of an individual has to be non-negotiable, meaning you make a decision. The word decision comes from the Latin word incision, which literally means to cut off all points of retreat. Cut off all points of retreat. There is nothing. Benjamin Disraeli said, nothing can resist the human will that will stake its existence on his purpose, meaning do it or die. Failure is not an option. You have to embrace the learning curve. Enjoy the emotional roller coaster. There's an amazing book out there, and I recommend everybody to get it. It's called The Talent Code by Daniel Coyle. The Talent Code by Daniel Coyle. Amazing book. It's a very dense book, so it'll take you some time to read, or listen to the audiobook. The audiobook's actually really good too. And he did a TED Talk on top of that. Daniel Coyle, The Talent Code. And Daniel Coyle went on research. He's a researcher. He went on a research to discover where does talent comes from. And it's not just investing time. He wanted to know the biological process of talent and how you and I develop any type of talent. This could be singing, this could be walking, this could be whatever talent it is, you gotta whatever develop. But here's what they find out. There's this thing in your brain called myelin. Myelin is that your nerve fibers, they fire for everything, every thought, every movement, everything. Your fiber in your brain. Every time that fiber fires, myelin builds around it. The more you send out the same signal, the more myelin it builds, and the faster that signal happens. And this is the development of a skill set. It's the development of a talent. Okay, that book would explain you that. That's all. That's as far as I'm going to go in there. However, here's what the book said that just blew my mind. The way you develop talent, and the way me and you develop talent is by, he said, struggle. You have to struggle. You have to go through that learning curve, and you have to have that, he called it operating at the edge of your ability. That's how you, in fact, the book, it has a quote that says, struggle is not even an option. It's a biological requirement to get better. Get this. What's a biological requirement? Well, drinking water. I'm drinking water right now. That's a biological requirement. Eating food, that's a biological requirement. Breathing oxygen, that's a biological requirement. He said, and in that book, he breaks it scientifically, breaks it down, that when you and I avoid the learning curve, We avoid the emotional roller coaster. When we avoid this, we're avoiding progress. We're avoiding success. We're avoiding our destiny of growth. He says struggle is not optional. You can't escape it. It's a biological requirement for you to get better. You have to go out there and go through the learning curve. You have to embrace it. It's okay. The right mental attitude is the growth mindset. There's two types of mindset: growth mindset and fixed mindset. A fixed mindset says this. Here's what a fixed mindset says. It says, if it's hard, it's not meant to be, because if it was meant to be, it would be easy. That's a fixed mindset. Oh, I'm struggling. Oh my God, why am I struggling? This is not. No. That's a fixed mindset. A growth mindset says, I can get better. I struggle, but the struggle is the way, is the mental way for me to build my mental muscle, for me to build my skill set. Is that point of resistance. That's what a growth mindset has. And that's the growth mindset you and I have to go as we enter this business. You and I have to have the pioneer mindset. There's going to be, I'm going to set the expectations for you right now. Not everything will go perfect. In fact, my iPhone's still messing up. I got like iPhone 12 or whatever number it is. My iPhone's still messing up. And Apple still doesn't have it perfect. And Apple's $1 trillion company. Here's what that tells me. You can make $1 trillion in sales and not have it perfect. But sometimes the credit card processor might not work. Sometimes the servers might go down. I don't know. Sometimes the shipment, when they ship you a Pico G2, it might go to a wrong address, or you might not get it 10 days later when the day you're supposed to. I don't know. But I know this, it's not going to be perfect. So don't expect for things to be perfect. Apple's not perfect. Amazon's not perfect. There's no company out there that's perfect. You got to have the long-term thinking. Long-term thinking is the key. Let me tell you. But the beautiful thing about a pioneer's mindset, is the fact that you were breaking ground. That's beautiful, breaking ground. There's a gentleman out there that you've probably heard of, Roger Bannister. What is Roger Bannister? Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile. On May 6, 1954, Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile. Before then, 20 years, nobody could do it. It was like scientists were saying, this is impossible. Nobody's going to be able to do that. The human body has reached its physical potential. Okay, May 6, 1954 comes, Roger Bannister does it. Sports Illustrated wrote an article the following week on him saying, this is the single most important act in sports history. They put him on the cover. Of Times Magazine. Amazing. Here's what's interesting. Very, very interesting, actually. 17 days later, a runner named John Landing from Australia broke his record. But here's what's fascinating to me. It should be fascinating to you too. No one knows about John Landing. You probably never heard of John Landing's name. It's for probably the first time. But yet he broke, 17 days later, he broke Roger Bannister's record. You see, we remember only those people that break ground. That's who we remember. You and I, we're breaking ground. We are the early adapters. We are the pioneers. We are those that say we're not here to follow a path. We're here to go off path and leave a trail. Leave a trail for everybody else. And that's who GPS represents. We're here to be the pioneer and break ground. And you and I are breaking ground. And nobody remembers John Landing. Nobody remembers that person that did afterwards and say, let me see somebody else do it first, and then I'll do it. Nobody remembers that guy. They only remember the person that breaks ground. That's a pioneer's mindset. And that's the pioneer that you have to be. Now, developing the mindset is simple. Let me tell you, I'll break this down very quick. The system of education rewards high GPA. The system of life rewards your desire, rewards your work ethic. It rewards your commitment to make things happen. It rewards that attitude, the positive attitude, looking at the seed at every adversity of a positive outcome. That's what the system of life rewards. It rewards that person that Napoleon Hill said in his book, Think and Grow Rich. The starting point of all achievements, a white hot burning desire. That's what the system of life rewards. Enthusiasm and urgency. I'll give you just a quick story on enthusiasm and urgency that I experienced personally. I was, this happens a few years back. I was in Dallas, Texas. I lived in the uptown in a high rise. I went downstairs for lunch. There was a bunch of restaurants down there. And across the street, a friend of mine that I have not seen in years waved me down. I said, David, oh my God, I haven't seen you in years. He literally crossed the street, almost got hit by a car, got to me. It's like, oh my God, David, I'm so excited. I'm so happy to see you. I've been trying to call you. And I'm like, call me, man. What's up, man? How are you, man? It's great to see you too. And he's like, David, I launched it. I launched my own art gallery. And David, I have some of the most exclusive art from Hollywood celebrities that are now painting, and I have exclusive rights, and I'm gonna have my launch 2 weeks from now. I have my launch 2 weeks from now in my own gallery, and I'm just blown away. And at this point, I'm like, great, man. You invited me? He says, yes, I'm inviting you. Here's the invitation. Give me your number right now. He got my number. 2 weeks passed by. I forgot about it. The day before, he calls me. He reminds me. He follows up. He followed up and followed through. And he calls me, say, David, I cannot wait to see you at my grand opening tomorrow. It's at 2:00. I got there. I got there at 2:30. I actually got a little late. But the moment I walked into his gallery, he made a straight beeline towards me. He said, David, oh my God, I can't believe you're here. I'm so happy you're here. Let me show you this right here. And he started showing me his art gallery. He grabbed the wine, he grabbed a herb, and he gave it to me. Then he went to the art. He said, look at this painting, David. This is amazing. It was painted by this person this year. You can't buy this, David. You cannot buy it, though. He said, then he goes to me another one. He said, David, look at this painting. Look at this painting. But no, David, you can't buy this one. You cannot buy it. It's already sold. I'm sorry. And then he gives me the other one. And he goes, this right here, David, this right here, this is you right here. This is by James Franco, the actor James Franco. He says it's called Birds. It's beautiful, one of a kind. He'll never do it again. It's exclusive. It said, man, David, this says you all over. You look at this. It's already signed in the back. And it's like, how much is? He goes, it's $10,000. I'm like, oh my God, I never bought a $10,000 painting, or nor have I ever bought any painting period in my entire life. And he's like, but David, look at this. This is incredible. And at the end of it all, at the end of the day, here's what happens. His enthusiasm was contagious. His enthusiasm was that energy. He transferred to me that sense of emotion, that excitement of emotion. Guess who owns a James Franco painting? Yes. Guess where that painting's still at? 4 years later, still in my garage, in the box. I don't own any other painting but that painting. Why? Because it was his excitement. It was his urgency. It was his enthusiasm that he gave me. I couldn't say no. It was contagious. So that's a true story. How I not own a James Franco painting. Here, you got to be coachable. Then I'll finish with this. Is that you got to be coachable, because I love what Paul St. Pilser says. Paul St. Pilser, an amazing economist, used to be the advisor for multiple presidents, sat on the board, Citibank. I mean, he was incredible. I mean, to this day, he coaches Fortune 500 CEOs and entrepreneurs. And here's what he tells them. He tells them, spare me your brilliance for 90 days, and let me show you how to do business. Now, some of you in this call right now, some of you are professionals. You're already entrepreneurs. You're already success. You have had extreme success outside of the industry of direct marketing and distribution. You have had so much success out of it. And congratulations. You bring desire, work ethic, commitment. You bring those values to the table. But in this business, you're brand new. My recommendation is the same thing Paul St. Pilser says. Spare me your brilliance for 90 days and let us show you how to build this business. Bring your work ethic. Bring your commitment, bring your influence. Bring your coachability. Bring all these things, but don't try to reinvent the wheel. I do whatever. I'm still to this day. I'm a sponge. My cup is empty. I told Mr. Michael, I said, man, whatever you tell me to do, I'm gonna do, because you have had way more success than me in this industry, and I wanna follow your footsteps. You got to be coachable. There will be toxic dream stealers. There will be. It's gonna happen, man. There's no. There really isn't. There's no other way around it. That's just gonna happen. But every entrepreneur out there that has had some level of success has come across toxic dream stealers. That's just normal. In fact, it's a great story of a gentleman named Fred Smith. Now, Fred Smith went to Yale University, and he wrote a thesis called the Hopkins thesis of distribution. And in fact, he said people will pay an additional premium for faster and safer delivery system. And he turned his paper into his professor, and his professor failed him, says that's a D. That's a D minus. And no, that's not gonna work. It's nice, it's a thesis, it's nice. It's not gonna work. 1971, Fred Smith took that paper and he turned it into a business, and he founded FedEx. FedEx, get this. His professor told me it was crazy. It's not gonna work. First toxic dream stealer right there. Second, he launched his business. He pitches to different investors. He pitched it. He pitched it to his family as well, who invested in his company. And on day one, they launched 24 packages. Only one made it. And that 26 months later, the company was negative $29 million. Fred Smith was almost done. In fact, he mentioned that his friends and family told, you know what, just go ahead and go get a job. You know, you're an amazing engineer. You're an amazing business owner already. You have so many skills. Don't worry about that. Everybody was told him that he should just quit. But Fred Smith was not that type of person. He had a pioneer's mindset. He was a purpose-driven individual. He actually, it's a funny story, he took his last $1,000 and went to Vegas and turned it into $27,000. Took the $27,000, reinvested in his company, launched for another month, and within that month, he got a few contracts that saved the company. That's a true story, by the way. Today, FedEx is worth $65 billion. Imagine if you would have listened to the toxic dream stealers. Now, you have an option here. Here's the option. Are you going to frame how you feel about your business, or are you going to let other people frame how you feel about your business? Because I'm going to frame how I feel about my business. I'm going to create the narrative. I create the story, and you have to do the same. And don't worry about the naysayers. There will always be naysayers. If there's no naysayers, you're not doing it right. You're not in the right direction. So you're in the right place when you have naysayers around you. Now, when you talk to people, there are going to be three types of people. You're going to have people that are going to say yes right away. Those are we call them the red apples. Then you have the maybes. I want to think about it. Those are the green apples. They want more information. Then you have the no's, the rotten apples. Sometimes I'm not calling people rotten. I'm just saying that some people, we're just giving an example here. So you got the rotten apples that people that know. Remember, we're sorting. Here's my philosophy. I'm not looking to motivate. I'm looking for motivated people. I'm looking for people who want to make it happen with me. That's what I'm looking, and I'm willing to run with it. Then you follow the Pareto principle, 80-20 rule. You spend 80% of the people who are saying the yes, they're willing to work. You spend 20% of the people, 20% of your time with the people that are maybe green apples, and you spend 0% with the people trying to convince people. Don't try to convince anybody to join your business. This is too good. If this is so good, why are you trying to convince me? That's their mindset. So don't try to convince. If they don't see it, they don't see it. It's not everybody's meant to see it. There's a great story about Jesus, and this is not just let's throw the Bible. I mean, it's just a great story. There's a great story how Jesus in the very last meeting that he had before he sent his disciples into the world, he said to them, "Not every door is of your accord. Shake the sand of your sandals and move on to the next door." Well, in those times, the sand, it was used to be, if you had sand in your sandals, what would happen is that It will rub against your skin. You can get a blister. You can potentially even die. So what do? You shake the sand off your sandal. You're sorting. You shake the negativity off your life, and you keep moving to the next door, to the next door, to the next door. When you share a good idea long enough, it lands in good people. Jim Rohn tells us. Some will, some wait, some won't. So what next? But here's what I want to tell you. Yeah, I said this last week, but I want to remind you again, for those of you that are brand new right now looking at this, I learned more from my no's than I did from my yes. I learned way more from my no's. Every time I did a three-way call, and I've done thousands, every time I did three-way, when I got someone that's rotten apple, someone who was just mean to me on the phone, who was rude, who was just asking me all these questions, and at times I didn't even know how to answer them, those same questions kept repeating themselves over and over and over again. When the next rotten apple came in a three-way call, I knew how to answer the questions, because it was the same thing. And you're going to notice that it's always the same. But understand that some will, some wait. So what next? Just go to the next person. Just go to the next person. I want to finish up with this. Listen to this. What is that? Think about it. What is that? You say, David, that's a clock. Yes, it is a clock. But in reality, that is the sound of your life passing you by. That's what that is. And you and I have to understand that every minute, every second is precious. This 1 second we will never get back. We will never get back this precious timing. We will never get back this time that we're investing right now. This is about you and I getting this out of the way, getting money out of the way, getting all this finances out of the way. What is the best version of you? What does that look like? What does that look like? Bring that out every single day, because we already are those people. It's a great story, and I'll finish up with this. It's a great story of Zeus and the gods, and Zeus and the gods were having a fight in the heavens, and Zeus and the gods were like, man, the greatness of man have become too great. We have to do something, because the greatness of men have become too great. So Zeus puts the entire earth to sleep, and he takes the greatness of man away. And the gods start arguing amongst each other. Where do we hide the greatness of man? And one of the gods says, we'll hide it in the deepest ocean. And Ares, the god of war, very clever, he says, no, if you hide it down there, man is curious. They'll go down there and they'll find their greatness. When other gods say, okay, we'll hide it in the top of the highest mountain. Ares again said, no, if you hide it up there, man is resilient and persistent. If you hide it up there, they'll find it and they'll find their greatness. Another one said, we'll hide it deep in the earth where they will never find it. Ares said, no, man is inventive and they're innovative. They'll invent machines and technology. They'll deep down and they'll find their greatness. Finally, the gods, very frustrated, asked Ares, where do we hide the greatness of man then? And he said, when the one place they will never think of looking, in their hearts. And that's where it is, my friends. It's already inside of you. It's already in me. Everything necessary to change your life and to make GPS a billion-dollar company, for us to come together and do something great and be the pioneers, is already within you and within me. You got to recognize it and you got to let it out. It's already there. So thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and hand it out to one of the gentlemen that I have the utmost respect. This gentleman, I've heard of him again. I heard about him 10 years ago, already having success at the tender age of 19. I think he's almost a prodigy in this industry, that having so much success, has been doing so well and has been helping so many people for such a long time. He's someone that I admire. He's a mentor from afar. He's a friend. He's someone that I can't wait to spend more time with him so I can learn from him. So get your pens and papers out and get ready to learn from the one, the only Mr. Marc Isaac.
Mr. David, thank you so much for those kind words and amazing introduction. And, I just have to tell everybody how much I respect Mr. David. You can tell that he has mastered having the right mindset to be successful, in GPS and as an entrepreneur and just everything that you have done. I just want to thank you so much from myself and everybody that I know that's on the call today. I'm learning from you. So, Mr. David, thank you very much for your leadership and everything that you've done. And, first of all, before I continue, my name is Mark Isaac. I've actually been in the industry for 10 years and my background is nothing too crazy. In fact, actually, prior to getting involved in this industry, I was a college student. I was a waiter. That was the only job I've ever had. But one thing that I knew is that I wanted to go out there and help people travel the world, make money so I could help more people and travel more. And that's what it's all about. And what I want to have an opportunity to do is actually talk to you. I believe the most important part about GPS is how the money works and how you can go out there and move through the compensation plan so you can put these dollars that we talked about into your pocket so it can change your life. And so what I'm going to quickly do, I'm going to actually pull up the compensation plan. Perfect. There we go. So, and I'm going to dive right into this information. And this is what I encourage you. I know some of you right now being on a Zoom call like this, you're at home. Some of you, if you are right now, eating, if you're right now in the kitchen, if you're right now, getting ready for your day, I just encourage you, just take a minute, pause for a second, pay attention to this information because my mentor always taught me this. He said, Mark, if you learn this compensation plan, it can motivate you. But most importantly, if you know it well enough to teach it to people, you can have a team that's motivated also. A lot of people are like, how do you keep motivating people, Mark? You've been in the industry for a decade since you were 19. How do you get people to work when, how do you get them to work when, a lot of people are lazy? And I was thinking to myself, the reason why they're able to go out there and be self-motivated and inspired is because they understand how the money works and what they need to do in order to achieve it. And so I'm going to breeze through this, but I'm going to keep it simple. And the understanding of this compensation plan, you have to have a general overview of it. The details, understand it's going to come as you start seeing it more. I always encourage people to understand that when you see the compensation plan or any training, you're laying one brick. Then the more training you go to, you're laying another brick, then another brick, then another brick. Next thing you know, you have an empire. And so I want you guys to have a chance to really dial in so we have your undivided attention so you can lay that first brick really, really well. And it's going to be a great foundation for the rest of your GPS career. So Mr. Michaelon said it the best, that there's 9 benefits being involved in GPS. And so let me explain to you actually all 9 benefits and how it works. So first few things you need to understand, okay? Every influencer can build 2 teams, a team on their left and a team on their right. And based on their volume on each team, we will recognize those teams as either called the power leg or the working leg. So what does that mean? What is a power leg? A power leg is the leg that has more volume, okay? A working leg has less volume. So understand first, before I talk about what a volume is that influencers that get involved with GPS must be an active influencer in order to receive any commissions in GPS. So the question is, how do you become an active influencer? Very simple. You need personally 100 BV, 100 business volume. So if you look right there, there's 2 different volumes that we talk about. There's something called business volume, also known as BV, and influencer volume, also known as IV. And this is the difference. Business volume for our products, and like Mr. Michaelon said, we only have 2 products right now. We have the Pico G2 headset device, which is 400 BV, and a VRLU subscription, which is 100 BV. And understand that BV, business volume, does not change. These are set numbers for the products that we have. But influencer volume currently right now for Pico headset device is 400 IV. VRLU is also 100 IV, but even though right now it's the same, it's subject to change, meaning later on in the future, when we have more products and we have more content and we have more amazing things in our product portfolio, we're able to throw different promotions. You know, for example, maybe during the holidays or during certain months, we're able to increase the influencer volume. So there's more value to focusing on those specific products. So I just want to make sure that at least you understand it. And if you do, guess what? Everything in the compensation plan is going to fall into place. So the first way we can make money here in GPS is called influencer marketing commissions, also known as IM. These are commissions that are paid out weekly, and you can get anywhere from 1 up to 10% in commissions based on the products that you sell. So obviously we only have a couple products right now, but again, as the portfolio of our products grows, guess what? You're gonna be able to earn more in commissions, where we're able to go out there and demo what we have and go out there and get people to buy it retail, okay? Second way we get paid is called group influencer marketing commissions, also known as GIM. So few things to understand about this, okay? If you look right here, that's currently the business volume for our 2 products that we currently have. Again, Pico G2 headset device is 400 BV, and a VR Loop content is 100 BV. What's important to understand in number 2 on the GIM commission is this. Every time an influencer gets involved in GPS, they can only build 2 teams, a team on their left and a team on their right. And every time there's 100 business volume on the left team and 100 business volume on the right team, that's considered a GIM cycle, okay? So again, if you have 100 BV on the left, 100 BV on the right, that's considered 1 GIM cycle. So again, as an example, if there's 200 BV on the left, 200 BV on the right, that's 2 cycles, 300, 300, 3 cycles. So every time there's 100 on the left and 100 on the right, that's considered 1 cycle. So let me give you an example just so you can see how the money works on this example alone, okay? Let's just say you have 3 people on your left team. Let's just say you have Michael, Danny, and Katie that all got involved on your left team, okay? On your left team, assuming each person purchased a Pico device and a VR Loop content, that means Michael has 500 BV, Danny has 500 BV, and Katie has 500 BV. That's a total of 1,500 BV on the left team. And let's just say another individual brings in 2 people on the right team, Tommy and David, okay? Assuming, again, each person got a Pico device and a VR Loop subscription. Tommy has 500 BV, David has 500 BV. That's a total of 1,000 BV on the right team. So now the question is, how many business volume is equivalent on each side? 1,000 on the left and 1,000 on the right is what's equivalent on each side. So if 100 BV on the left and 100 BV on the right, and this example is considered 1 cycle, just in this diagram and this picture alone, that means that you have 10 cycles that happened just in your organization in this example, okay? If you multiply how many cycles that you got for the week times the company's business volume value for the week, meaning it's gonna be based on the company's revenue. It's gonna be based on certain numbers. Again, all the details can be found in your back office in the detailed compensation plan. But right now, because we're at a pre-launch phase, we don't have a value yet because we're still at our pre-launch, okay? We haven't shipped out the products yet. That's gonna happen when we launch in June. So this value can be anywhere from $2 to $4. And so if you do 10 cycles times, let's just say $3, that means just for the week, you made $30 just in group influencer marketing commissions. Now the question is this: what happens to the remaining 500 BV that was on your left team? Well, guess what? That value carries over the following week. So you start with 500 on your left team the following week. as you start to continue to build your business, okay? So what I wanna talk about now is the third benefit in GPS. It's called Leadership Matching Bonus, also known as LM. These are monthly bonuses that are paid out for people that are going there and personally sponsoring individuals into GPS. So understand that when you get involved today and you go into your back office, you'll be able to see two different trees or two different diagrams of how your organization looks, okay? If you look right here, okay, at the top right, there's gonna be a tab that says binary tree, meaning right here is going to be an example where that's you at the top. You can, every influencer that gets involved in GPS can only have two frontline influencers that they can sponsor, okay? Only two. Once those two spots are taken, if you have another recruit, you have to put it underneath one of those two individuals. That's what we call here in GPS a spillover, okay? So assuming, let's just say this is you right here, okay? If you see my mouse, this is you right here. If you bring someone to your left, guess what? They got one of the first spots. But if your right team, if that right spot is already taken, but you have someone that wants to join GPS and become an influencer, you have to put them underneath the organization. That's what I called a spillover earlier, okay? So the binary tree, that's how it's gonna look. But here on the graphical tree, also known as unilevel tree, whichever terminology you wanna use, everyone that you directly sponsor, guess what? It's gonna show right here on the red. It's gonna show here, right? It's gonna show just like that on the tree, the people that you personally recruited into the business, no matter what level they fall into the binary tree, it'll show in the graphical tree who personally you sponsored into the business. So this is what I wanna explain, okay? You can get paid up to 4 generations just on the leadership matching bonus that we have here with GPS, okay? But what is a generation? If you personally brought someone into the business, that's considered your first generation. If that person personally brings someone into the business, that's considered your second generation. And we can get paid on 4 generations here with GPS. Once you're an Influencer 100, you can receive 40%, okay? 40% on the GIM commission of the person you personally brought into the business. If you become an Influencer 250, you can unlock up to 2 generations where you can now receive a 30% on the GIM commission of the person on your second generation. And when you're an Influencer 500 and above, you can unlock all 4 generations, 20% on your third generation, 10% on your fourth generation. And this is all based on the individual's GIM commission, which is number 2 that we previously talked about. So again, this is a part of our compensation plan that is rewarding those individuals that are actively finding people that want to help build GPS to 1 billion and beyond. But this is what gets me so excited and one of the most powerful parts of our compensation plan. It's considered the monthly influencer level bonus, okay? Also known as MIL. So these are the different positions on the first column that you can accomplish with GPS. The second column are the requirements in what you need to personally do to achieve these positions. And if you see right here, it says monthly influencer volume qualification, and this is based on the working leg. So let me explain. If you want to become an Influencer 500, it says right here, you need 5,000 influencer volume IV on your working leg, assuming your power leg has more than 5,000. Once you're an Influencer 500, you make a $500 monthly influencer level bonus. If you're an Influencer 1000, it says right there, you need 10,000 influencer volume on your working leg, assuming your power leg already has more than 10,000. That means you'll make $1,000 in monthly influencer level bonus. And it goes on and on and on, all the way up to Influencer 200K, where you can receive $200,000 a month in monthly influencer level bonus. So as long as you maintain these positions, and as you build month after month, year after year, your team is bigger, but this is the beauty about our compensation plan. This right here is not just based on who you personally brought into GPS, But the best part is this, it's who you and your team, and even for some of you that have a team of, your mentors, your coaches that you're working with, if some of them have also recruits and they're master recruiters and they're, guess what? That those individuals that they place into your organization also counts as you start climbing up the ranks in GPS. So it's beautiful. The beauty is this, that you don't get cut off. The beauty is this, is that everybody is working together to get to the top. And that's the beauty about our compensation plan. But let me share with you what gets me so excited is this right here. It's called Level Advance Bonus, also known as LA. Understand these are one-time bonuses that are paid out, okay, for you hitting certain positions in GPS, okay? Again, everything I talked about, let me stop for a second. Everything I talked about is one compensation plan on top of the other, on top of the other. So on top of all the things we talked about, this is also an additional part of our comp plan that gets people fired up, okay? So check this out. Once you become an Influencer 100, okay? Again, the requirements are right there next to it. You'll receive a level advanced one-time bonus of $100. That's to help a new person get a check, a belief check to get through the gates and running with us in GPS, okay? And guess what? Next one is 250. When they hit Influencer 250, when they hit Influencer 1000, guess what? They receive $1,000 in level advanced bonus. What I encourage every person right now, if you're taking notes, is make a goal, make a commitment to be an Influencer 1000 no matter what before the month ends. And for those that are overachievers that want to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to do it before the month ends, but let me try to do it faster. Then I encourage you, run through the gates to create a great success story here in our company. When you hit these one time, boom, you get it the third week of the following month on the Thursday. Okay. If you hit Influencer 5,000, okay, 5,000 all the way up to 75K, okay, you can receive more bonuses, a $10,000 bonus if you hit Influencer 5,000, a $50,000 bonus if you hit Influencer 25K, $150,000 bonus when you hit Influencer 75K. Just a one-time bonus for hitting these positions. And what's amazing is that once you qualify and hit these positions at least 3 times, the best part is you don't have to do it consecutively. You don't have to do it back to back to back. You just have to do it at least 3 times. And guess what? You'll receive the commission check the next month on the Thursday. And also the highest positions in GPS, Influencer 100K, Influencer, more and more and more 200K. The best part is this, is that you can receive bonuses from 500 grand, $1.5 million to $3 million in GPS as a one-time bonus. Let me ask you this. Where do you know you could receive a $3 million bonus in anything that you do nowadays? It's very rare. But the best part is this, there's no time frame. It does take work. I'm letting you know right now, it does take time. But if you follow the system, you're coachable and you don't quit, guess what? You could really progress aggressively through this compensation plan. And as you do it within 5 months, if you hit it 5 times, these positions, guess what? You're able to get breakage and get these bonuses paid out, on these positions right here, 40%, 30, 30%, it'll pay it out in installments. So the best part is that at least you have the opportunity to do it here with GPS, okay? But what's amazing is number 6 and number 7 is very similar, but it's so powerful. We understand that in any business that you do, we're always going to have those friendly competitions. But this is one thing that brings us together as a company, that we're building this not just individually. We're not just in this for ourselves. No, but we're in this together because we want to help and build GPS. We want to help build it domestically. We want to help this company grow globally, right? And the first way we can actually benefit from working together is called Domestic Leadership Pool Bonus, DLP. And what's amazing is that these are for anyone that hits Influencer 10K, Influencer 25K, Influencer 50K, and Influencer 75K. What's amazing is that 1%, if you look right here, 1% of the domestic business volume distributed to these individuals that hit during a calendar year. So 1% of the company's revenue domestically will go into this part of the compensation plan. And once you hit and qualify on a monthly basis for certain positions, you'll receive a certain amount of points. So as an example, if you become an Influencer 25K, okay, and you did that 5 months out of the year, guess what? 5 times 2, because 25K members get 2 points each. That's 10 points that they receive. If you hit influencer 50K 2 months of the year, guess what? That's 2 times 3 points, because influencer 50K members get 3 points. That's a total of 6 points. So in a calendar year, you have 16 points that you achieve with GPS. And what's amazing is that 1% of the company's domestic revenue will be split up amongst the leaders that qualified for these positions. So it's amazing to see that this is like an end of the year bonus that everyone gets for working together and helping GPS grow. But that doesn't just happen here domestically. Once you become an influencer 100K, 150K, and influencer 200K, guess what? You get to now participate on the global leadership pool, where 1% of GPS global revenue will be put in a pool where the top leaders and top influencers that hit these positions will have a chance to split that as an end of the year bonus, where we all work together to grow the company to $1 billion and beyond. So it's such a beautiful concept. It's such a beautiful way that Mr. Danny Bay, our chairman and founder, just gave us an opportunity for us to have that, to feel like we have that equity stake in GPS. So it's such a beautiful compensation plan. And the last two is this. This is for new people to get involved within their first 12 weeks. And every single person on this call right now is participating in this. And every person on the call right now has a huge advantage. Why? Why do you have a huge advantage? Because we're still at our pre-launch phase. Meaning that when we launch GPS in June, guess what? That's when it's all gonna start our 12-week run. So right now, every single person seeing this, you have a head start. You actually have a better advantage since you have more weeks to participate in this right now. So for a new person, check this out. A new person that gets involved, right, that receives $10,000 in the GIM commission, which is number 2 of the comp plan that we talked about. Guess what? A new influencer within their first 12 weeks can receive an additional 30% on their GIM. So if a new person made 10 grand on the GIM, 30% of that is $3,000, meaning they get a total of $13,000 just because they got involved and worked within their first 12 weeks in GPS. We want to have new people having a fast start. We want new people having a great success story, but this is the beauty about what we have here and why Mr. Danny Bay, our founder, is such a genius. Because he didn't just give this promotion for a new person that gets involved within their first 12 weeks, but let's say each and every one of us is past our 12 weeks. Let's just say it's already November or December and every single person on this call is not a new person anymore because we're past our 12 weeks in the business. Guess what? It's okay. When we personally go out there and sponsor someone into the business, remember, you get a match on what the new person made. That's number 3 in our comp plan. So if a new person made $10,000 because you directly sponsored them in the business, you make $4,000. Because you sponsored someone new, you can receive an additional 30% on your leadership match, this $4,000 right here, meaning you get an additional $1,200, a total of $5,200 that you could receive because you sponsored somebody new. So if I were to encourage you, be a sponsor monster. Go out there and find people that get involved. Go out there and talk to people. Understand the worst thing you can get is a no. But a no never killed anybody. A no never hurt anybody. But guess what? A yes can build your checks. A yes can build your business. So if you talk to more people, the more yeses you're going to get. And the last part is one of my favorites, just because I've always had a dream to just travel all around the world. And what's amazing is that you can participate in influencer leadership retreats. And what's amazing is that we'll have a domestic retreat for anybody that becomes an influencer 1000 and do it for a few months. We'll be able to go to Las Vegas, which is going to be a beautiful place for us to have a chance to meet, socialize, and have a chance to really just interact with each other. And then, of course, anyone that becomes an influencer 10K, I believe in September, If the pandemic starts to, starts to get better, clear out a little bit, guess what? We're going to have a chance to go to our very first retreat in Singapore. And I'm excited about that because I used to live in Singapore before we moved to the United States. And so I'm excited to see how Singapore looks. It's been years, man. It's been years. And so also world retreats where anyone that's 100K and above will get together and say, hey, where do you guys want to go? You guys want to go to Dubai? You guys want to go to Paris? You guys want to go to Germany? Let's go somewhere. That's the beauty about it, where we're going to have a lot of opportunity to spend time with each other and travel the world and experience really what this world has to offer us. And so I'm excited. And before I bring up the next individual, let me give you a few things to close it out in. I encourage every single person, if you're watching this right now, take this seriously. Take this seriously. You have one shot, one opportunity to create your first 30 to 90 day success story. And because of that advice I got from my personal mentor, guess what? Mr. Mike Lon, who presented the opportunity earlier today, he said, Mark, if you master and create a sick story your first 30 to 60 to 90 days, guess what? Your life can change. And I took him seriously. He said, get every distraction out of your way. So guess what? You know what? When a lot of my friends, when I was in college, would go out and party, watch movies, this and that, I said, you know what? They might not understand it. I'm going to focus. I'm going to get this running. I'm going to get this business moving because I understand in business, the hardest part is just the beginning. But when the ball goes, guess what? All you got to do is maintain and advance it, but you got to focus and you gotta run. And guess what? I was very fortunate in my very first 30 days in my very first company I got involved in to make a great success story income-wise. 9 months of the business, I retired my dad, who was vice president of engineering. 1 year into the business, retired both my mom and my dad. And again, it's because I worked my butt off, never missed a training. But because of that 1 year story and creating a sick 12-month success story, I was able to use that for the rest of my career till today, even though we're here right now launching GPS. So everybody that's seeing this, if you want to break through, if you want to go out there and change your family tree and change your financial future for the rest of your life and your generations, I encourage you to take this seriously. One shot, one opportunity for pre-launch, and you're here right now with GPS, catching the information. So run through the gates and don't take this time for granted. And I'm excited to now bring up an individual that I actually have a lot of respect for, because in this space of virtual reality, he's actually been in the virtual reality space for the last couple of years. What's amazing too is that I had a chance to spend time with him and his wife. It's such a beautiful couple, beautiful family. We had a chance to go to retreats together in our previous company, but also to see this individual that just loves helping people and is building one of the most thriving organizations right now here with GPS. It's unbelievable. So I'm excited, and I have an honor now to bring up the one and only Mr. Robert Griffin. Thank you so much for jumping on the call today, sir.
Mr. Isaac, I can't thank you enough, sir. And I can still remember us having dinner on that amazing retreat. What an awesome time that you guys welcomed us into your group. And I'm going to tell you, watching your meteoric rise and how you've been able to just kill it in this industry has been really inspiring to someone like myself. So kudos to you. Anyone who gets the opportunity to work with Mr. Isaac and his amazing family, you don't realize how blessed you really are. And so just the fact that myself being a representative of my wife and I team, I can't tell you how excited I am to be here. I feel like this is like the dreamland. I want to just pinch myself because I'm on this panel of champions and I almost feel like I'm not worthy. Like I feel like that old Wayne's World movie, We're Not Worthy. And some of you will get that. Most of you have no clue what I'm talking about. You're too young. But anyway, my goal tonight is to talk about customer acquisition. Before I jump into the slides, I wanted to give you guys a little insight as to who I am and where we came from. You know, when I first found direct sales, network marketing, I was an undercover cop in a little town called Las Vegas, Nevada. And I have a funny catch line. I'd say, people say, what happens in Vegas? And they always say, stays in Vegas. Well, if you met me back then, you also stayed in Las Vegas, because I was a detective undercover and I was doing a lot of cool and a lot of crazy things. But just like many people who get involved in direct sales, the catalyst that got us here was a tragedy, bad things going on. We were literally in a position where we went from making really good income and having all our ducks in a row to the economy collapsing in 2008. And it made us lose our house, made us lose our investment property. And it made me think, I need a backup plan. I don't want to have this happen to me again and not have a way to fix it. And so I look at that time now and I remember those days and the pain that it created for me and my wife. And I think there are a lot of families right now in America that are experiencing the exact same thing right now, probably even worse, because of this COVID pandemic, and they got people on lockdown. And so if there was ever a time, listen to me closely, for you to go out and reach out to your friends and family and say, hey man, this may or may not be for you, but you need to take a look at something right now. Because I remember the day that my partner piqued me at my interest. We were on our way to do a search warrant on a dope house in North Las Vegas. And I get in the car with him and he goes, bro, are you interested in making extra money? And I had a question of him. I said, does it cost a little bit of money to get started? He goes, yeah, it costs a couple $100. I called my wife and I said, I found a part-time opportunity, costs a couple $100 to get started. Can we afford to do it? She said something very profound. She said, baby, we can't afford not to. Like, whatever it is, do it. And so I'm saying all that to simply say this. If you're listening to this for the first time, just do it. And you'll be looking back and thanking your friends later who invited you, like I thank my friend every time I see him. Now, I came from police work. I've also been working in this world called virtual reality for 2 years. Now, if you're not experienced with VR, I'm going to try to give you an education and shine a little light on it. But I'm going to tell you, the market itself is absolutely exploding. Let me get my slides pulled up here 1 second. Okay. Absolutely exploding. The VR market is certainly growing in a big, big way. But let's talk about technology over the last few years. Remember back in the day when we all had cell phones? Cell phones were a big deal. I remember I got my first cell phone before Mr. Marc Isaac was even born. Some of you might have seen the TV shows when they had these big brick phones. In fact, I had the one prior to that. For the old people, can I get a witness? We had a bag phone. It came in a bag and you had to carry it around with a battery pack. And yes, that's embarrassing. And yes, I'm dating myself. Okay. Then the 2G phones came out, and then the advent of the smartphone, right? The iPhone came out and it just changed everything. And then 4G comes along, and now what used to be simply a luxury for rich people became a necessity that you and I could simply not live without. So the cell phone industry is booming, and now look around the world. 5G is here. So the technology will evolve. And the whole idea would be to get in front of that wave. And that's the beauty of where we're at with GPS today. Like one of my favorite mentors, a gentleman by the name of Dale Williams, who you'll get to hear a lot about him in the very near future. He said, how do you catch a wave, Rob? You start paddling your rear end off before that wave gets here. And you and I are in such a perfect time and place and time right now that if you start to paddle, you're going to catch this wave of momentum that we're going to create with GPS. And I'll start off with this simple quote, one of my favorite quotes. I'm a big MMA fan. I love what Conor McGregor said when he got to the UFC. He said, look, we didn't come here to take part. We came here to take over. And so I see GPS walking into the arena of network marketing and direct sales, and not just, creating a little success story. We're going to become the prominent network marketing company on planet Earth. Let's talk about VR, AR, the industry. A lot of big boys are getting involved, right? You hear about Oculus being bought out by Facebook. They spent, listen to me closely, for the people who don't understand the industry. I had a young lady message me recently, go, I don't think virtual reality is going to stick. I don't think it's going to be around long term. Then did you put $2 billion into it like Mr. Mark Zuckerberg did? $2 billion with a B, folks. Apple's getting involved. Apple, right? Google's getting involved. A massive expansion there. I can tell you that I am part owner of a virtual reality company that is outside of this environment. And what we do is we sell virtual reality simulators to the military and to government. Right now, California, the state of California, has a $5 million RFP out there for, guess what? Virtual reality simulators for law enforcement. That's not enough. The United States Air Force is in the process right now of creating a $100 million fund just for virtual reality simulators for their soldiers. Think about this for a second, folks. The fact that the Apple guys are getting involved and the Oculus people and Google are jumping in, all it does is one simple thing. It simply verifies where we're headed, and it solidifies our direction, and we are definitely heading in the right way. Now, let's talk about the industry. We talk about this somewhat in the presentation, and how the VR market is exploding. And I'm talking about military and law enforcement. That's awesome. And those things are going really well. But that is a small fraction of the overall volume that is going to be created here. Virtual reality, for most people, is a gaming thing, right? They get the headset and they play games. By the way, if you've never played a game in VR, you are in for a treat. And when I say VR, guys, I don't mean the little piece of cardboard you stick your cell phone in, okay? That's not virtual reality, okay? That is not virtual reality at all. It is simply you staring at your cell phone close, okay? That is not the same thing, okay? There are special lenses inside of a VR headset that make it work like an unbelievable way. So gaming is important, but the bigger piece, I think, is the entertainment piece, because it's gonna allow you to experience things like you've never had before. And with the advent now of e-learning and being able to get an immersive experience, when I traveled to Vegas a few months ago, I went over to Danny's house and I was sitting in his living room and he was just laying out the vision. Man, I couldn't sleep. I still haven't slept good since that meeting. And he put the headset on me and I experienced standing in the octagon with a professional MMA coach learning MMA. And my mind was blown. If you've never experienced real VR, I don't mean the cell phone ghetto kind, I'm talking about the real deal, folks. You are in for one heck of a treat. And you add into that what we're going to be doing in e-commerce and allowing people to shop virtually with augmented reality. That's the part that really got me ridiculously fired up. Let's talk briefly about the Pico G2, because I know a little bit about the technology and I know certainly about our competition, right? When a good friend of mine said, Rob, why the Pico? Why the G2? Why are you using that? I said, because it's the best one, pound for pound, for the money right now that works. He says, what about Oculus Go? So the Oculus Go is a fantastic headset. If you got one, great. But the Pico G2 is unique because in every single category, statistically, processor speed, refresh rate, memory, all those things, it wins. Like if you were shopping for laptops and you had one that had amazing specs and one that had better specs, which one would you choose? Obviously, that choice is the Pico G2. It is absolutely amazing. If you've never experienced it, get ready, you're in for one heck of a treat. But the VR Loop platform and the ability to experience apps inside of a virtual reality experience is unbelievable. Like I have a son who's in the other room right now who games constantly. He's an avid gamer. He tells me one day he's going to win a big tournament and make a bunch of money playing Fortnite, right? I doubt that will happen. But anyway, I took him in the living room because we have a VR headset from my job or my company that I own, right? And I said, son, have you ever tried gaming in VR? And he said, no, sir, I never have. And I put the headset on him and he was playing for about 10 minutes. He almost, ran over the couch and was trying to get away from the zombie that was chasing him. He pulled the headset off and he goes, Dad, I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack. Guys, this is a 17-year-old kid that games every day in a 4K screen in his room. He's got one of those really sick setups in there, and he could not believe the realism. And that's what I'm trying to impart upon you guys. Once you experience this and you have this headset and you take it out there and demo it, that is going to be the best asset for you to build your business. Because what most direct sales companies do is they create a product, they push it out to their sales team and go, hey, go sell this stuff. Go sell it. And well, how do we do it? Well, you got to sample it, which means I got to buy a bunch of product, give it away. Those people consume that product. And then guess what? If I want to give it away next month, I got to go buy more, give, right? The beautiful thing about having a Pico G2 in your VR Loop subscription, you can demo that thing to 10,000 people and not have to buy a new headset. How sick is that? You're sitting at a Starbucks, you're at your buddy's house. Hey, bro, have you ever considered making money in VR? No, what are you talking about? Here, look at this. And then watch them say what they always say, wow, that's what's going to happen. We have wow factor like you have never seen. Now, with the advent of augmented reality, it's going to allow you to have EBP or experience before you purchase. So VR is a completely immersive environment. You can't see out of it. It's like 4K resolution that allows you to experience complete immersion. By the way, before I get off on the AR, that there are studies around VR that said that people will retain 40% more information than they will by watching a 2D video or experiencing, like an in-live classroom setting. For one word, it's called focus, because you can't see out of it. You're 100% focused on your target, which is really, really awesome. Now, let's talk about EBP for a second. Through the advent of augmented reality, it mixes the real world with the artificial world. So you can literally try on a hat, put a watch on your wrist, put a suit on and see it in yourself in a mirror wearing the clothing. Like my wife bought me an awesome jacket online. I was so excited to get it in the mail. Finally shows up and it's too small. And I'm like, man, wouldn't it have been nice if we could have tried that on and experienced before we purchased it, which is really, really awesome. Let's talk about VR Loop for a second. When I was in Danny's living room, he put me in that headset with this gentleman. Where's he at? He's on here. I know he's in there. Anywhere. Mr. John Wood. He's not in this particular one. Anyway, he was the professional MMA coach, right? He put me in the octagon with the MMA coach, but we have a much bigger lineup than that. We're just showing you the tip of the iceberg here. Professional BMX rider, a diet and health coach, photographers, a tennis pro, a gentleman who loves sake, who could give you, he's like a sommelier for sake, and then a lot of other really cool content. Just know, when we launch in the United States, this is the tip of the iceberg, folks. The VR Loom production team has got tons more content. They're getting ready to film and prepare for our big launch in June. This COVID thing did kind of slow that down a little bit, but just know we're going to be ramping up and ramping up fast. This is just the beginning. And there's going to be more content coming because once we get these guys published, there'll be weekly updates, monthly updates. Just know your VRLU subscription is going to be one of the greatest investments in your GPS career. Now, this is the Korean lineup as well. But one of the things I love about what we're headed is it's much bigger than just the VRLU experience. We got all these amazing masters, but they're going to be partnering with a gaming company that's going to have tons of games available as part of your VRLU subscription. And they're partnered with a travel channel that is going to allow you to go visit all the exotic places around the world. Like, think about this for a second. I'm a father. I have 2 children. They're in school right now. They're learning about history and Europe and all this kind of stuff. Wouldn't it be nice, instead of watching a video or reading it in a book, my son's like, Dad, I want to go see the Colosseum in Rome. Okay, bro, let's go there. Boom, put a headset on him. And he's like, oh my God, it's like unbelievable. Or maybe you've got elderly parents, you know, people that are infirm and they can't travel. God bless them. They have a bucket list. I've always wanted to see the pyramids in Egypt. Wouldn't that be nice to be able to travel there and see it? Well, guess what, Grandma, Grandpa? Bam, and they're there. Can you imagine how their face is going to light up when you can give them that gift of checking off a bucket list, even though it may not be physically there? But if you've never experienced virtual reality, man, you are in for one heck of a treat. Now, we have exclusive content. There he is, John Wood, our MMA guy, okay? The $99 gives you unlimited access to all the content, meeting all the VRLU masters, daily content, weekly content, the games we talked about as well. You might be thinking, well, the Korean and the Japanese stuff that gets launched, will I be able to understand it? No worries, it'll be subtitled so you can also plug in and completely understand it, okay? I'm gonna tell you, man, the thing that really gets me excited is about where we're at today and the ability to work with this amazing team. So my part here is over. I'm gonna tell you a story. I met a gentleman, my goodness, I'm gonna say it was about 10 years ago, and I was a nobody. And he was probably nervous when I walked up to him because I had just seen this gentleman train on the stage. And this is old Rob, right? I was still an undercover detective back then. I had a beard about yay long, and I looked like a criminal. And I walk into this meeting, I remember a lot of people goes, man, you gotta shave that crap off. I'm like, no, I can't, bro, that's for work. And I went up, I saw the most amazing training. I saw this gentleman, Mr. Michael On, walk off the stage, and I went over and I greeted him. He probably doesn't remember this. We were in a stadium with a whole bunch of people, and I said, sir, that has been one of the most profound trainings I've ever experienced, and I just wanted you to know that I was impressed by you, and I remember walking away. He was very nice, very cordial, and I walked over to my wife, and I was like, don't you wish we could get adopted? Don't you wish that we had a team that took care of their people and empowered others the way that he does and runs his ship the way that he does? Because we didn't have that type of support in our former organization. I said, man, wouldn't it be nice if one day we could work together with him and Mr. Bay? And see, God had a plan, man, a long, long time ago. And he said, I'm going to make your wish come true, Mr. G. And then all of a sudden, here we are together, running hard together. So I'm going to like to turn the call over to one of my most amazing mentors, an amazing leader, an amazing human being, the one and only Mr. Michael On.
Mr. Robert Griffin, we appreciate you. There's nobody that could deliver a training just the way you do about VR, AR, and our product portfolio. I appreciate you and your wife. You are right. It's literally a blessing to work together finally. I can't wait to see you do even better and help more people. So appreciate you, sir, for being in GPS and your leadership. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what a training this has been so far. Getting a chance to hear from literally the best of the best. And that's outside of so many other leaders we have that are right now thriving in the GPS organization. I can't wait for you to meet so many leaders we have all across. And, you know, I put on a hat because my hair is just, you know, very nappy. And, you know, it's just not been great with all the pandemic going on and the coronavirus. I'm going to get a haircut soon, but, you know, it's exciting. It's an exciting time with what's going on in GPS. It's exciting to bring a brand new product here to the US. It's exciting to have the greatest compensation plan in network marketing that we have ever seen. And it's so exciting to have so many great leaders who could deliver a training the way our team can, like Mr. Nieves, Mr. Marc, Isaac, Mr. Griffin, and so many more. And we're gonna close it out now with how to take full advantage of promoting the system and how you can build a team with all of us right now in the GPS organization. Just remember, pre-launch only happens once for a company in every single country. And for all of us right now, it's truly a time to build a team over the next 3 to 4 weeks as we get to launch this company in the very beginning of June. But understand, even if you have no experience, and even if you've never done anything like this before, and even if you're not educated about VR, AR, and technology space because it's just, you know, confusing to you, it's okay, because you can earn and learn as you go in this business. So if you're brand new on this call, your job is to simply invite. Let the experts present. Let the experts train. And all you got to do is repeat the step 1, 2, 3, and let the system build your business. So how do you invite people down, and what are the steps? Number 1, you got to construct a list of everybody you know. 100+ names of everybody. The bigger the list, more money you're gonna earn. And the first rule I've ever learned when it comes down to inviting people to take a look is never, ever, ever prejudge anybody. You know, when I was brand new to this industry, I used to think successful people, they're not gonna wanna do something like this. They already make enough money. One thing I realized about successful people is they believe in multiple streams of income and diversifying their income. The more successful they are, the more they're open to this. And I used to think broke people, when I was at the very beginning, they can't afford to do something like this. And I used to prejudge until I realized I was broke. And the broker the people are, they need an opportunity. So don't ever prejudge anybody because you don't know what they're looking for in life. Ladies and gentlemen, you gotta call and invite people with enthusiasm. The last 4 letters says, I am sold myself. When I meet brand new prospects or brand new business partners who's new to this concept, always ask me, Mike, what's that one line I could use that can always get people open-minded to taking a look? What's that one script, if I just know, will pique more people's interest? Listen, the experts and the leaders can give you the best scripts, the best lines, the best words to use, but if you're not jacked out of your mind, if you don't have enthusiasm when you're calling people, they're not gonna come take a look. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. I would rather have somebody say everything wrong with 100% urgency, 100% making it exclusive and being excited than saying everything right and sounding not confident and sounding shy and sounding like they don't even believe what they're saying. So always remember to have a sense of urgency. Why? Because we've got roughly 3 to 4 weeks before launch. Why do you got to make things exclusive when you invite? Because majority of the people don't know what this is. And if you're involved already and you have a position and you're working with the leadership, you're blessed. So understand, when it comes down to inviting, you got to edify the people you're working with. Never make yourself the issue. Raise the influence of the leaders. You know, when I first got involved 15 years ago in this industry, I used to tell people I found a way to make more money. I found a way to make serious money. And a lot of people laughed and didn't believe me. And here's what I realized. It's because I was broke. I was making $8 an hour. My friends knew me for who I was. So when I called them, I found a way, obviously they didn't believe me. So I needed to use third party. Hey, I met somebody that's extremely successful. I met this young lady. I met this lady. I met this gentleman. I met an extremely successful person. And I had a chance to work with them. If I was the person connecting my friends and the prospects to meet somebody else, to hear somebody else, they're a lot more open to that. So make sure you talk about the people you work with more than just the company and more than I found a way. And always remember to keep things simple. Spend 1 minute with 100 people, not 100 minutes with one person. Because Mr. David Nieves earlier on talked about we're in the business of sortings. Here's what I realized. Amateurs convince, professionals sort. Always remember, sort, don't sell. Always say less to more, meaning the more you say, the more they judge. The less you say, the less they judge. Keep people curious, and your goal is to have them just take a look at the information, and we're going to sort through the people that look. Always remember, it's timing, not talent. You can't say the wrong things to the right person, and you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. Right now is the greatest time in the history of the world to invite people to take a look at home-based business. You look at what's going on just here in US, majority of the people are quarantined. Majority of the people right now wish they had another stream of income. Majority of the people right now wish they have a business they could run online. And we have the solution. This is a time we get aggressive with a sense of urgency where we talk to more people than ever before by telling them and sharing with them that you met somebody. You found a business where they need to take a look right now more than ever with urgency today. So remember, invite as many people as possible. Higher sign-up ratio with more exposure. Help people enroll and become an influencer immediately. What if I shared with you guys this was all a numbers game? What if right now I shared with you guys you don't even really need skills to get people involved in this business? That if you just talk to more people, and if you just show this to more people, right, the more business partners you're gonna have. It's all a numbers game. It's all a numbers game. So instead of trying to convince the few people, just show it to more people, just show it to more people, just show it to more people. I remember telling my team members, what if only 1 out of 5 that take a look at this business are gonna get involved? Instead of trying to convince 5 people that saw the business, if you want 2 business partners, just show it to 10. If you want 3 business partners, show it to 15. If you want 4 business partners, show it to 20. Just show it to more people. That is the secret to having massive success in a business like this. Just show it. So a quick example of a script we're gonna share with you guys is very, very simple. Remember, the key to having a successful invite is urgency, enthusiasm equals great results. So if you can't get excited, I recommend before you make a phone call, do some jumping jacks, right? Drink an energy drink, drink coffee, get your blood flowing, right? Move around a little bit, right? And then make a call. If you don't sound excited and you sound tired and you don't sound like you believe in what you're talking about, just remember, why would somebody else want to take a look at something you're not even excited about? So here's an example script. Let's just say I'm calling my friend James. All I'm gonna say is, hey James, do you got a quick minute? Your friend goes, what's up, right? Are you open to making extra money on top of what you're currently doing? Are you open to adding another stream of income? Are you open to making some serious money? There's no one correct line you can say, but the bottom line is asking if they're open to earning additional income. They're gonna say, sure, what is it? Or not really. If they say sure, great. It deals with virtual reality. I'll send you a Zoom link of a presentation so you can see it, see what it's about. Simple. If they say, what is it? It deals with virtual reality. I'll send you a Zoom link of a presentation so you can see what it's about. If they say not really, just politely hang up. And what you want to do is make sure before 30 minutes of starting the presentation, you confirm that they're going to be on it and edify the speaker. See, if you just do it only through text, hey, take a look. It's not exclusive enough. Now, can you text people? Absolutely. In the 21st century, does majority of the people text over a phone call? You better believe it. You can text, but make sure you also talk to them so they can hear your voice and see how excited you are. But always remember, you don't want to invite for 1 week away. See, Mr. Danny Bay always told me to invite for the next 24, 72 hours. Because if it's anything further than 72 hours, it's no longer exclusive and there's no longer urgency. Again, we're going over this information pretty quickly because we're running out of time, but always remember to call your leaders you work with. Go over the script a little bit. Role play with them. And if you're really, really nervous, I highly recommend you take full advantage of 3-way calls. What is a 3-way call? 3-way call is when your phone feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds and you would rather have your friend not pick up and reach their voicemail because you don't know how to start the conversations. If that's you, don't be embarrassed, don't be ashamed. All you have to do is tell the person you're working with that I would rather do 3-way calls. What's a 3-way call? All you got to do is, let's just say, prime example, if I'm calling my friend John, and I'm nervous. I'm just going to call John and be like, hey, John, it's Mike. I'm really excited, but I have somebody very successful on the line with me that wanted to speak to you. Can you please be respectful? His name is Mr. David Nieves. Her name is Miss Marilee Isaac. And let us talk to them and invite them to our next Zoom presentation. Let us answer all the questions they ask. And remember to always be honest. If you're new, here's the greatest thing. Just be new. Just be excited. And it's okay to tell them, I don't know the answer to the question you're asking, but I know an expert that has 100% of the information. I would love to put you on the phone with them. I would love for you to get on the Zoom and ask all the questions afterwards to the experts. So this is our schedule and this is our system. Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Hawaiian Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Every day we're gonna have a presentation, except this Friday, we're gonna have our very first leadership training with the people that qualify for Influencer 100. Now, what is Influencer 100? 500 on the left, 500 on the right. But I understand right now, because we're in pre-launch, we don't have any rank promotions to realize who got the job done. So here's what's gonna happen. Anyone in our organization in GPS right now that did go out there and sponsor someone on the left, someone on the right personally, we're gonna allow you to get on our very first Friday night leadership training this Friday, and we're gonna give you access to it, and there's gonna be a password we're gonna let you know. We also have our team conference call tomorrow for GPS Sunday night. And this week, because we got such an overwhelming response from all the GPS influencers that were on our call this week with the chairman and founder, Danny Bay, for Good Morning Leadership, we're gonna continue the series this Monday through Friday. I understand it's super early in Hawaii, 5 a.m., but champions have been waking up 8 a.m. Pacific Time, 10 a.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and people have been just getting so much golden nuggets from our chairman and founder, Mr. Danny Bay. So that is our schedule for the week. That is our schedule for the month. And here's what I want to remind every single person on this call. You don't have to be talented when it comes to winning in network marketing. 15 years ago, when I got involved in network marketing at age 20, my very first 12 months, I was fortunate and blessed enough to earn a 6-figure income without being the guy who presented, without being the guy who did the training, and without being the person who was ever in front of the room or on the phone. You know why? I just used the system. All I did was get people onto a presentation. I let the experts close the business. I've helped my team invite more people to the presentation. And when they had questions, I let the experts answer the questions. And more people got involved in the business. The only thing I did was get more people to take a look and be involved in the training. I leveraged the system like this, and guess what happened? The system built my business. And eventually, I started earning money. Eventually, I started earning more money. And eventually, the money got me confident to do what we're doing today. So if you're on this call right now saying, I don't think I could ever speak like David. I don't think I could ever speak like Marc, like Mr. Robert. I don't think I could ever give a testimony like Mr. Thomas or do something like Marilee. It's okay. I was just like you. But you know what we can all do? Use the system, leverage the system, and build the business through the system. So eventually the system can build your business. And when those checks starts coming in on a weekly, monthly basis, and when those direct deposits starts hitting your bank account, eventually, trust me when I tell you this, your confidence will go through the roof. You're at the very beginning of GPS. Every one of us are blessed to be a part of this company during this time. And we only got a window of time to build until launch. Get aggressive right now. Get urgent right now. Get excited right now. Get jacked out of your mind right now, because this is a time that is never going to happen again in the history of GPS. You're at the right place at the right time with the right company, with the right leadership, with the right compensation plan, all you got to do is do your part. I'm officially Jack, guys. Let's go ahead and get aggressive. Set up some Zoom meetings with their leadership, and let's make next 7 days the greatest week we ever had in GPS. We appreciate you guys for being on. God bless you guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow at our Sunday conference call. Have a great day, everybody.